Highlands. And there's Ed Sheeran with photograph. Yeah, Lady A on the way, just a little bit, but Philip's on the line. Let's take a ride to Statler Financial Services in Sebring. Hey, Philip, do I have you?
Hey, Scotty. Yeah, man, we had a few technical difficulties getting together there, but we've got it now, and glad to
Yep.
be here. You hear me
Yeah,
good?
Yeah,
No.
I hear you great. Everything's good. So what you been up to? What's going on?
Hey, I'm glad Dave's been able to get away for a couple of days, and glad you're able to fill in for him this morning, because he needs a little break every now and then.
Yes, he does. He is a very hard-working guy, and I love getting up at 5 in the morning, Philip.
Yeah, I think you're being sarcastic.
Yeah.
Hey, let's kind of recap last week before we kind of look at where we are and where we might be going this week. So if we go back and look at last week, we Friday ended up on a down note. Scotty, the Dow ended up a little over 0.5%, down 177 points to 30,814. Not only down for the day, but ended up being down for the week by almost 1%. NASDAQ on Friday was down almost 0.9%, $114 to 12,998, and ending down for the week a little over 1.5%. And then looking at the S&P 500, down almost 0.75% on Friday, $27 down to 37.68, and down almost 1.5% for the week last week. So we didn't end up on a very good note. And then yesterday was a holiday, so we didn't really have anything yesterday in terms of the markets. Now today, not the case. We're seeing some comeback in the futures from last week, which is good news, and we'll give you those numbers here in just a little bit. So I was looking to see what might be other than earnings, what might be something to kind of just lead with this morning. And there's a survey that I think gets missed a lot, Scotty, and it's called the NFIB, and that stands for the National Federation of Independent Businesses, which is a lot of the small companies. And small companies may not necessarily be that small, but the definition is any company that employs less than 500 people, which is a lot.
Sure.
They account for 70%, almost 70% of the employment in this country. And so in this survey, it talks about, what independent businesses are looking at this next quarter and what do they think is going to happen. And one of the things that really pointed out is that small businesses really understand the limited impact of what they call artificial inputs. Now, Scotty, what do you think artificial inputs might be?
I don't know. That's fascinating, Philip. Tell me about that.
So artificial inputs are going to be the stimulus that we saw last year and this year. It's going to be the inflated amount of unemployment benefits that got paid out by the federal government. Those are things that are outside the norm. And so what small businesses said is that, we understand that those things impact us on the short term. They give us a short-term high, a nice bump maybe in revenue, but they're not going to make their long-term decisions based on that information and how they were able to respond to that. So long-term hiring decisions, ongoing costs that they incur, they're not going to start investing heavy in their business until they know that the economy is on the right foot and heading in the right direction. And so the only spending that they're really committed to right now is automation. And that's not good news for employees because the more automation there is, the less need there is for employees.
Right.
And so, that's a concern as we look at heading into 2021 and what that's going to mean for kind of the small business people.
Okay.
From that front. So, well, let's look at some earnings because we had a couple companies that did report this morning.
Right.
And then we got a couple big ones coming in this afternoon after the market closes. So probably one of the biggest in the banking world is Goldman Sachs. and they hit a home run. They were expected to earn about $7.47 a share, and they really blew that out of the water. They earned $12.08 a share, Scotty. A huge
Wow.
increase to them. And their revenue came in ahead of expectations. They forecast that they were helped by a lot of strong bond trading and underwriting. They were able to underwrite a lot of bonds, so that was helpful for them. And they are trading up a little over 2% this morning, and they're getting really close to their 52-week high, so only a couple dollars away right now.
Okay.
The other bank that reported was Bank of America. And Bank of America, they did beat by 4 cents a share on their earnings, and that was helped because they were able to reduce their loss reserves, and so that kind of helped their net income. Their revenue missed; they were short on revenue, and they were off compared to the fourth quarter last year if you compared year over year. So, but they did reaffirm their dividend. And they announced, you weren't there, we talked a couple of weeks ago about how the Fed was going to authorize banks to start buying back their own stock again, because they had suspended that when COVID really hit. And so Bank of America has come out and said that they will, they'll start back as soon as they can that $3.2 billion buyback of shares. Now, you would think that would kind of help them, but it really didn't. They're trading down about 1.6% this morning after Friday being down almost 3%. So they've had a rough couple days. And then the last one I have, Scotty, is Halliburton. And Halliburton is a oil field, they come oil field service company. So they provide services to oil companies out there in the oil fields. And they came in 3 cents ahead of estimates at 18 cents a share. Revenue came in ahead of estimates also. They've continued to cut costs. They were helped because of the rebound in demand for oil. Oil prices going higher. That was a good thing. And Halliburton is trading up a little over 2% this morning before the market opens up. So a little bit of a mixed bag today. Hey, a thing to look out for tomorrow is today after the closing of the market, Netflix reports, along with some other financials. So we're looking forward to Netflix and seeing what they have and how that really starts to come out today. So as we close out our time together, Scotty, we've got the futures looking really good this morning.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, some good news there. We got the Dow up almost 0.7%, $207 right now. The S&P 500 is right there with them, up almost 0.7%, up $25. Nasdaq's up 0.75%, getting close to up $100. The commodity side of the coin is looking just as good. We got silver up almost 1.5% this morning, gold up almost 0.5%. Crude oil is kind of flat. It's up about 0.1% to $52.48 a barrel. I did see somewhere where there was a report that oil demand was expected to diminish. When that happens, you expect oil prices to start to fall. So we'll take a look and see how they do today and talk about that tomorrow.
Okay, Phil. Hey, real quick, because I'm running out of time, but the inauguration is tomorrow. Does that typically have any effect on the markets? Does that do anything? Are you thinking one way or the other concerning that event?
It could. It depends on what happens tomorrow. You know, if there's unrest, if there's riots, if we have issues like that, that could weigh on the markets. You know, when he gets done, he goes back and he starts signing those executive orders that he says he's already got lined up. When we find out what those are specifically and how they will address the public, that could have some impact on the markets. We'll just kind of have to wait and see. But folks will have to tune into that tomorrow. And you know, one thing that people need to realize is that risk is always out there, and you need to know how much risk you have in your portfolio. And it's easy. All they have to do is give us a call, Scotty, at 863-382-0037. Then get on my website at statlerfinancial.com for a lot of good information there. And then join us this weekend for the Statler Financial Radio Show, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk 730.
Hey, nice segue into your close. That was great, Phillip.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'm not used to having to talk, the majority of the time. So, hey, from a radio guy, I appreciate that.
You're the best. Hey, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you, Phillip.
All right, man. Have a great day.
It's Statler Financial Services.
If you owe 26 point.
Hey, folks, I want to thank you for joining us today. The rest of the week, it's all me and Scotty, but looking forward to it. Have a great day. I look forward to speaking to you again tomorrow. Bye now.